Hey there.
Oh, hello, my people. Welcome to the Poly Pimps.
Okay, microphone. Get it together.
We are doing it.
Get it
Most
together
of the
with the
time I
mic.
feel like I forget to use the microphone or put it in front of my face, in front of my mouth. I'm gonna try and remember. It's always in the way.
It's
So, what's up, good people? What's up, the Poly Pimps? What's up, cousins? We
what
are
are
here
we up
tonight.
to? What are
Hmm.
we up to? So, this
Exactly.
topic is pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited about it. But before we did get into it, let's talk about the event next Friday.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah,
am so excited.
let's
You're the
talk about
techie, so you may have to post the flyer, but
it.
I am very
Oh,
excited about the event on Friday. We are going to have our second Juicy Bash. Those who were there for the first one know how great and juicy it was. This one is going to be even juicier because we're going to have a live audience and we are going to have some guests on our panel. And we're going to talk a lot of things polyamory. Um, yeah, so that's next Friday. We start at 8, correct?
yes.
Yeah, we start at 8. The location will
Yep.
be
And I'll post.
disclosed for the tickets holders, but the general area is Melville.
Yeah, it's a private spot. So
Hmm.
I'll pull it up and I'm actually looking for it. I don't know why I can't find it, but I have it. Anyway, and then I'll also post the link for it so people can get tickets. They're $15. And it just covers some expenses for it and stuff like that. It's also going to be like a hangout. So we want all the poly people or the poly curious people or the monogamous people or whatever
So, yeah,
love style you're living to come through. So
yes, come have some
that
fun with us.
that part.
All
So
right.
we are the Poly Pimps. We are here tonight to discuss broken
Broken
homes.
families are non-monogamous families. What say you, people? We are here. What are we
Broken
gonna say
homes.
about this?
Yeah. So you want to get right into it or
Um, well, let me make one more announcement. So we have the 13th for the Juicy Bash, and then the 20th, we're gonna be at Sulit for live music. Not the Poly Pimps, but one half of the Poly Pimps. We are gonna have an acoustic set at Sulit. Um, for those who love live music, yours truly will be performing. It's a beautiful wine bar in Alpharetta, Avalon area. So if you're familiar with that, it is not far from the Avalon, same street, I guess. So just um, you can check it out on my pages. You'll find information regarding that. But we will see you guys next Friday for an extra Poly Pimp Juicy Bash. So let's get
it's
into
called
it.
it's called Night of the Poly Pimps since it's on Friday the 13th.
Yes.
So let's see.
Hey, Michael.
Hey there. How are you? So so basically I'll give the background where this came from, but Dr. Sharice Bryant came out on two different podcasts, Cam Newton's podcast and Nick Cannon's podcast. And the general conversation that she was having with them is, the fact that they have multiple children with multiple women. And one of the things she said was like, you're creating broken homes. And Cam Newton was saying that in fact, he wanted to have more children. And I think the internet went ballistic because apparently he just had a baby with a girlfriend, and they're like, how are you having children with someone who you're not committing your life to? So that is where, I be in my mind thinking about how all of this develops and how it happens. And then of course I started looking at some of the reviews of people out here talking about their pros and cons. Most of it was they basically felt the doctor pulled up these guys, right? So I have several different thoughts about these, not Nick Cannon or Cam Newton, just these celebrity millionaire, they call them high value, whatever type men who have multiple children. And then, even in comparison to any man having multiple children, and what really is a broken home. It's like, so I have a variety of thoughts in different directions. So, me too, if you want to guide us. Because
Well, um, first, I want to say that just by watching, I didn't watch the whole interview. Um, and I want we are disclaiming that we do not condone any um non-ethical, unethical behaviors, right? So I want to say by watching just a few minutes of the interview, it definitely is coming from a monogamous point of view. That's just what it seems to me. And my question is, what is a broken home? Because that's what she mentioned, that they are creating broken homes and this and that. I want us to define what a broken home is, because maybe my experience is not the same as yours, not the same as somebody else. So what is a broken home to you guys, to anybody? To me,
well, from from well, whoever's watching, I can speak on what I hear, what I think it is, and what I hear what they're saying. Like what she's saying and what people say out there is they basically think a broken home is broken because there's not the mother and the husband and wife are broken. They're not together in the
mhm,
home. That's the kind of definition that I kind of tend to hear. However, a broken home is, I mean, you can have both parties in the home and it still be broken. So that's the part that I have a difficulty with, because for some reason there's this unwritten story that because two people struggle it out and stay together, they are better than a mom who's
a
raising her
single
kids by
mom
herself,
or a
a single
single dad.
single dad, or co-parents who don't live together in the same house. There's just this like thing that comes out that like you have to be married and you have to live together and you have to be in this traditional setting in order for you to have a good life and be proper and be right and be righteous and what have you. And it's like, people who've had all of that and they still come out effed up. So you know
I,
what really
I,
is the greater good?
right. I personally grew up in a two-parent household, but baby, let me tell you, my home was so broken. And, I still talk about some of the trauma that was there. Now I have to say the parents were great parents, but the human part was not great. Like them with each other was not good. So, by definition of what, society tells you, a mom and a dad or two-parent household is a good home. And if it's not that, then it's broken.
I don't
I
agree
had
with
the
you.
two-parent household, but my home was shattered, destroyed. Yeah, it was
and
broken.
and same for me. Like, I didn't have a two parent household. My mom was a single parent. My dad was divorced with my mother. He remarried years later. And I think I grew up pretty good. Like I feel like I'm whole. I went to private school, I went to college. Like I feel like I had a good life, and my mom was a great mother. And I'm just like, why? And there's nothing broken about the way I lived. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I had everything. And so,
Exactly.
um, yeah, so I don't know, like that's the part that's disturbing. So now when you look at these gentlemen who she called out as having broken homes, I mean, you can go into the each personal case. We don't really, I don't know for sure how they're living. I mean, we can only guess from what we see out there. But
Right.
for example, what I did hear from another podcast is Cam Newton. He has 8 children, and they actually are with him. So his
Oh,
children are with him, but the mothers are not with them. So,
okay.
he's the bulk of the finance. So maybe it's easier that way. I think for when I look at these men when they do it, especially Nick Cannon, who's definitely in the out in the ozone with it. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is the only part of it that I think is the I won't call it broken. I would say the unfortunate side of it, because ideally in my heart I think that if you can afford to have, first of all, you shouldn't be having kids unless you can afford it, number one. But if
Right.
you can afford, like if you're in the millions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars, and you can afford it, you should be buying a 50-acre farm and building all these houses for all
That
these mothers.
compound.
A compound. You should have a compound. If you're going to have 12 kids, you should have them in proximity to each other. Because even if he is not present, because he's making his money in the world, they are with each other. They grow up with each other. That's so important to me. Especially that's your name, that's your seed, that's your genetic DNA code. You want, and then it's just easier for you as that other parent to come through and be amongst the 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 masses, right? Back in
Mm-hmm.
the Virgin Islands when I was growing up, there was a guy who was a leader in the community. I mean, I think he ran for senator or what have you, and I don't think he ever won, but he was just very outspoken, right? And he had 2 wives, known, and then I think he had another girlfriend somewhere. And one of the wives was one of my good friends. And the problem that she had was she never accepted the other wife. She was the first wife. And for some reason, he couldn't navigate bringing these women together, or maybe the way he carried it. I don't know what happened. But between the two of them, he had probably about 14 kids, right? Every time I saw her, she was pregnant. And every time she was pregnant, the other one was pregnant the next year. So they have kids like,
Mm-hmm.
doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Staircase.
Right. So then you would see you would see them at the beach, right? And because we live on an island, right? And on
Mhm.
Sunday, everyone's down at the beach. And he would pull up. I don't know if you remember this, because this was a law back. This was okay back in the day. He had a big old Ford Ford pickup truck,
You froze.
and he would have all what have you. He had a whole truckload of his children from the different mothers, and he went and picked up some from over here, and he went and brought these that are here, and he brought them all together and took all his children. They were raised as sisters and brothers. There wasn't like that's my half sister and that's my half
Right.
brother and stuff like that. Um, So I thought that was so beautiful, because they didn't really look at each other as half siblings and all that stuff. I'm one of 6 myself. My father had 6 children amongst 3 wives, 3 separate monogamous marriages.
Mm-hmm.
His first wife was his high school sweetheart. They had 4 children. Second wife was my mother, one, and the third wife was my sister Marissa's mother, and that was one. So it was 6 of us, and I was raised not fully integrated because I lived in the Virgin Islands for so long. But when I was in New York, I was with Marissa, my younger sister, or when I was really young, I was with the older bunch. And so like bringing them together is really important. That's the one thing I can hope for. But that would be like my number one issue with Nick Cannon's thing. And of course, maybe he's working that out. But the other side of that story, which is the part where like I saw some videos where people were like, well, you got to look at these women who are dealing with men like that. And one thing I can say is there's something very natural about men like Nick and women who gravitate towards that type of experience. And I think it has to do with nature more so than what makes sense and what society says. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, for example, when you look at, and I hate to use the term alpha because I don't really even really agree with it, but I for the example, when you're like in the jungle of 0 to 5,000 before humanity really started becoming societies, and you had these guys walking through the plains, you know, men like Cam Newton and Nick and other celebrities, Eddie Murphy, Elon Musk, all these guys, these are the ones that women are going to gravitate towards. Not really based on looks or um what have you, but in our time now, because they have money, that's what shines, you know. Um and so you're going to find women are just going to gravitate towards them regardless. I mean, if Nick Cannon called any of your friends, they would be really happy. You know what I mean? They'd be like, I won the jackpot. I don't care. I'm gonna have his baby today. So,
Yeah, I mean, I
it is what it
totally
is.
believe, some of these women, they get into those situations knowingly. And that's another thing. Agreements. People agree on things. I have a friend of mine. She has a baby, right? She wanted a baby. She had a great friend. I mean, I think they kind of dated, but not really. And they agreed that they were going to have a baby together, but they weren't going to be together. And people just lost their mind over that idea that, what? How can you choose to have a baby with somebody, but you don't want to be with them? Well, maybe I like their genes enough, but it's not somebody that I see doing life with as far as being a
Long
partner
term.
with this person. But maybe this person is a great dad because he has other children that he cares for. Maybe that's why I think I want to have a baby by him. It's agreements. It's not like they're forcing anybody to do anything. I don't really believe those women are coerced into doing what they do, having children with these men, because they all know Nick Cannon. Now, I don't know sports, so I could be sitting next to a celebrity who's a sports celebrity. I would not know who they are. But Nick Cannon, everybody knows Nick Cannon. Like,
Mhm.
if you're choosing to have a baby with Nick Cannon, you know what you're getting yourself into. And, you know, and people are going to be like, oh, how about the children? Like I said, I was raised in a different time. And it was totally accepted, tolerated, accepted that men would have different women, different households, different children by different baby mamas. I grew up with my brothers and sisters. We would be at each other's house for sleepovers. We
Mhm.
didn't have a problem with that. So we were in between houses. That was not a problem. Now, I don't
Okay.
know. I don't think the women shows that. And my mom and my stepmom, they had staircase babies, 1 year here, 1 year there. They didn't necessarily choose it, but they ended up staying because at that point they considered themselves like stuck. I mean, they don't really have a choice. Or who knows, maybe they were even competing to see
Mhm,
who's going to be the prize or whatever.
mhm.
So I think maybe some of these women, they're hoping that they'll be the one that they settle down with, maybe. But also, it can be just what they agree with. Maybe that person wanted a baby by Nick Cannon. I mean, he's a good looking guy. So they want his genes. Okay, they know who Nick Cannon is, and they just decide, okay, I want his baby regardless. He may have 30 already, but I want the 31, the 31st baby. I mean,
Wow.
it's not my cup of tea. It's not for me. But how many times do we see the women wait? Because right, society tells you have to wait for the right one, wait to have the husband to have a baby. Then you wait, they present themselves, and you're like, okay, that's the husband. You marry them, and then you have children, and you still end up a single mama. Not because you didn't do things right, you did everything society told you to do. That's why we have so many single moms. It's not that they all started single mothers, they ended up being single mothers. Um, so I don't know. I don't really, I don't agree
Another
on the
thing that I think that another well, another thing that I think that folks don't seem to realize is, especially with these celebrity men, or women, whoever has the money, once you're in that type of bracket financially, your children are going to have a better life than the average person. And they're going to have more resources, they're going to have better schooling, they're going to have support and help. You know what I mean? Like, there's just going to be, um I'm not going to say a better quality child is going to come from a union like that. I'm not saying that, but the things that they have at their access is going to be better. Like right over here in East Point, you have Woodford Academy or whatever. It's like 60,000 a year or something crazy. Who can afford to go to that school? You know what I mean? So you're going to have these, right. So you're going to have these celebrity children going to like these very, very amazing schools that have lots of features and one-on-one and all that kind of stuff going on. So they're going to be more developed in that. I look at it like that. Like I look at, like when I went to private school, my mom was scratching to get me in this school so I can have a better environment.
Mhm.
I went to the public school too, and it was a whole different world. It was a whole entirely different world. Like just the the teachers, even how the teachers were different. So I feel like, you know, if you can afford it, honestly, if you can oh, Woodward Academy. Thank you.
Thank you,
Um,
Paul.
thank you, Paul. Um, if you can afford to have the multitude of children, you know, I mean, I don't think any of these women have to work. They don't. Their job is just to take care of these children. I
Take
don't
care of
know the
them.
facts. I don't know the facts. I don't know what's the real. But in my mind, I'm guessing. I mean, I'm sure all of Nick Cannon's baby mamas have their own paid for house. He just like, which house do you want? Bing. You know what I mean? Like, I just, in my
Right.
mind, I can just imagine, like, it's just a whole different thing. Okay, maybe he's not fully present, but I'm sure they have their circles around them and these children that they're having with him. They have their family, they have their girlfriends, their friends, they have, I mean, and I'm just hoping that these girls who have these men who are not fully present, I just hope they have another boyfriend on the side, just because
Right.
ain't nobody ain't nobody got time to be waiting for
Exactly. Who's gonna wait for Nick
I won't
Cannon?
have your child, but if you ain't here, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I tell people, if I'm gonna be heartbroken, I would much rather be heartbroken with $1 million in my bank account. I can better, I can tolerate that pain a little bit better because then
I
I can
mean,
I can
I
take a
just
little trip, or I'd rather be heartbroken with $1 million in my bank
I
account.
just don't see the problem. I really just don't see the problem. And I just find that folks were like, oh, just a bunch of homes. And like, I saw this one guy who did a video about like he's been married to his wife and he showed pictures, and he would never have more than any kids with just this one woman, and and I was like, look at you though. You are nothing to have, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a regular job, you're a regular person, you're regular. Like, just stay in your regular lane. When you have a little bit extra, when you have a superhero cape on, you do superhero things. Like, that's just the way I look at it. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it might sound crass, but that's basically where it is. You
It
know what I
is.
mean?
It is. It's kind of like somebody who can't afford a Benz. They can't afford a Toyota, but they want a Benz. They can't afford the Benz, but they're gonna still go to the dealership and try and sign papers for the Benz. And it's like, but you don't have Benz money. Stay in your lane. Get your Camry for now. Then when you can't afford the Benz, then you get the Benz. I mean,
Get to
it's
work.
as simple as
Just
that.
get your reliable transportation and just get to work.
Exactly.
So
Stay in
yeah,
your lane.
I agree. So let's see. What else do you feel is important about um these men, particularly, especially because there's a lot of emphasis, I think, because we are part of like the Black community. A lot of emphasis has been put on them in the Black community. But what do you see as a pro for the way they are carrying this multiple relationship baby thing?
Hold on. We have a comment. Paul said, champagne tastes with a Coca-Cola wallet. Exactly. Exactly, Paul. So here's the thing. For me, I would much rather deal with somebody who is upfront about their intentions for me, with me. Now it's my choice to be like, that's not really gonna work for me because I want something different. Um, I mean, I'm pretty sure they have some favorites that they give love to, they cuddle with or whatever. But do they
Maybe
want
they
to cuddle with all 13 baby mamas? I don't know. I would not imagine so. You know, what are some pros? Personally, I'm hoping that they move in transparency, right? When you come to me, tell me you have 13 children with 13 baby mamas. Don't let me find out for myself.
Oh yeah, no.
It's my choice to deal with you or not. One time I said talking to this guy, and he said he had 10 kids. I was like, yeah, I think that's the end of our conversation. Because I don't necessarily want to deal with somebody who has 10 children. I I just don't care for it. You're gonna be in too many places because if you have 10 children, how much time are you gonna have for me? And then if you end up having so much time for me, then I'm thinking like, oh, you're not taking care of your kids. So it's not gonna be a win-win for you at all on that end, on my end. So I had to just like exit that conversation. I think for me, the pro would be transparency. If they're moving in transparency and let the women choose if they want to deal with them or not, I think that would be a pro. Because whether we want it or not, a lot of people have this false sense of security that they're in exclusive relationships when their husbands are sending DMs left and right to single women, or claiming that their marriage is in shambles or whatever, or they're just living in the house together. I mean, it's like so many, I see so many things, I hear so many different things. So you are with this person that I guess everybody knows about, and you think you're safe, you think you're secure, and then you're talking trash about this other person who is having babies left and right, um, and think you better. So I think transparency would be a pro for me when it comes to these people, because I'm thinking they are. I'm hoping they are.
I'm hoping they are too, and I think, and in my mind, I feel like they are. I mean, they really have nothing to lose because a lot of a lot of what is transparent is already known. Like, if Nick walks up on anybody, I mean, I don't know what part of the planet he needs to be on that someone wouldn't know who he was.
Right.
But we're not talking about him only. We're talking about anyone. But I'm just saying, I mean, if they were not known, then yeah, knowing that they have multiple partners and what have you. But I still don't think, honestly, in my mind, I don't think it matters to some of these women because
No.
literally, if Nick Cannon calls you, girl, guess who called me? Dick Cannon called me. Girl, you better get one of them babies.
It might be a meal ticket.
Right, sign up for one of them babies. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm on it. I am on it literally. You know what I mean? So I don't really think some of these women, I don't really think it matters. I mean, if he pulls up to the apartment complex,
Mm,
if he pulls up to the apartment complex in his Bugatti or whatever he drives, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if you have 99. Like, that's how some of the women, yeah, you could be on 100 right now. It don't matter because
right.
it's like a ticket to freedom. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that's unfortunately, you know, most of the women that these guys are dealing with are, you know, I mean, Elon Musk just had a set of twins. I don't know how many he's on, but he's on some high number. You know
Whew.
what I mean? Atria said, "Run."
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, but yeah. So
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if I would run from Nick Cannon. I mean, I don't know. He looks very handsome. He's an eye candy.
He's not handsome for me, but he's not. He's decent. He's
Well,
decent.
yeah.
He's on the
I guess
decent.
he's getting older. I do like
I
I
mean,
do
my
like
whole thing is, can you cut the pigtails? Can we get like a mature, nice little fade
does
or
he still
something like
have a
that?
pigtail?
I hate those little braids on a grown ass man. Cut that
So
out.
I do like men with long hair.
Okay,
It's
long,
a
but that
thing.
braids. You don't have to have it
Yeah,
braided.
but I don't feel like if you're 40, you should have cornrows or anything. Like, let's lock that
No,
hair or wear the fro for me. Wear it out.
wear it
Like,
out.
wear the big messy fro. I like that.
Maxwell. Go with the Maxwell vibe. You know what I'm saying? But that
Yes.
whole little braids thing is not sexy to me. I want you to be grown. But Nick is a special case. I'm trying to think of oh, I found a list. I want to share
Oh,
it.
okay. We got a list. A list of
A
what?
list of, like, so we keep mentioning Cam Newton and Nick just because they're in the spotlight, but there's a buttload of these types of folks that are that have I'm sorry, I can't. Okay, here it is. So I found this site, of course. Did it pop up? Okay, here it is. So these are celebrities that have fathered multiple men, multiple children. So we have Nick Cannon. They named him. I don't really need all of it, but basically he has like 12 kids.
Ooh,
Alec Baldwin, one, two, three, four, five, six. But I believe he has his six children with his one wife. So
okay.
yeah,
I think the
he just
problem
has
for
one wife.
this, I think it's more like the different baby mamas.
Well, yeah, I
I
guess I
think
can
that's where
pull that one up.
the
Okay,
society has a problem with it. Oh,
Eddie
Eddie
Murphy, he
Murphy.
has like 10 kids.
How
Kid
many?
count 10. 10, Eddie Murphy. He has two sons back to back with two girlfriends. He has a former wife, Nicole Mitchell. She had five. Then he
Ooh,
fathered another one with Spice Girl, Melanie. He has a 4-year-old son with his current fiance. Blah blah blah. I don't know. Count that. That's 10. Um, there's more, but yeah. I can name a few in off the top of my head. Um, let me think. What's his name? the rapper, um,
Future?
rapper, rapper, rapper.
Future? I
A
don't
lot,
know
whole bunch
any
of rappers. Let
rapper.
me just put it that way.
I
Um,
don't know.
little somebody.
Lil Jon?
Okay, my mind went blank.
Lil Wayne? Lil
Little
Jon?
John, the one with all the tattoos all over his face. The
Lil
little
Wayne.
short Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. DMX. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
whole lot of guys who have multiple baby mamas, celebrities, etc. There's like a shit ton. Um, but yeah, so I don't think that I just think that they are. I don't know. Did you see the interview at all? Did you see any of the interview?
I only watched a few minutes of it. Honestly, I did not watch the whole thing.
So I watched chunks of it, right? And the thing that I really didn't like about this particular doctor was I really wasn't I'm not really sure how like professional her vibe was, right? Because she kept talking a lot about her story a lot. And I was like, I don't know if why that was a thing because it was I don't know why she was
But
bringing up like how
she
she
was
was
on their
raised.
show, right?
Yeah, and I just thought
So
she
she
was the
was on their
professional.
show.
So
But if she was on their show, they probably were interviewing her. So she's probably going to talk about herself.
yeah, it was weird to me because it was like
You froze.
herself as an example.
I
That's the part
missed
that
a
I was
lot of
like,
what you said. You froze for a
say it
little bit.
again. I was saying that when it pertained to like their story, like certain questions that were coming up, like say regarding Cam, then she would reflect back on her life story as an
Okay.
example. Like she was like, I think also when she was talking to Nick, she was like, you could never be with a woman like me is basically I'm a high functioning woman. I mean, and I was just like, I don't like y'all shouldn't compare each other in that way. It just didn't seem like that was like proper. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like I just was like felt a little like I thought her the way she carried it and the way she was like communicating with them, she was like trying to punch them out, you know what I mean?
I didn't
And
see
they
that part.
yeah, they had to like really navigate around and be graceful with her and gentle. They were gentle with her. They didn't really go off on her at all. But some of her, the way she was carrying it was real shitty to me. And I was just like you don't
Mm,
have any respect for these guys, like she kept cutting them off when they were talking. And I was just like,
mm,
let the guy say what he's trying to say. You know what I mean? So
right.
that's part of it. And I think like the internet, they get like, oh yeah, she told him off, and I'm just like, it really wasn't a balanced conversation. She was very much in defense mode. She was very much there to like prove a point, what have you. And they were just chill. Cam was way chill, like he was sitting back smoking a cigar, and Nick was in defense mode. You know what I mean? He's like, well, I don't necessarily agree with that 100%, but um yeah.
What is a high functioning person to you?
To me, um, I feel that a high functioning person is someone who knows kind of like the ways to live properly according to our society. They go to work, they go to school, they try to achieve things, they do things by the book, they don't try to evade the law. They pay their bills on time. They're just doing things according to like proper adulting. Whereas low functioning is like, you know cutting the lights on outside. You know what I'm saying? Stealing cable, getting a jailbroken fire stick, like that's all like low vibrational, low functioning type situation. And, we may all know people like that. So, just like a lot of janky stuff, just the janky shit. High functioning is like, I kind of do life according to like the way it should be done, the way it's been set up. And interestingly enough, you do all of those things, and then like society, government, and all these high people, they're the ones that do low functioning bullshit to get ahead. So
Mm-hmm.
that part.
Well, I wanted to kind of circle back to the whole, what society tells you is right, right? Recently, I'm having a conversation with somebody, and let's say, for example, like I say, I don't want to get married, I don't want this, I don't want that. But everybody thinks I should get married because first of all, I'm a woman. Second of all, I'm a woman in my 40s. Third of all, I'm a woman in my 40s and a single mom. So I should hurry up and get married and find me a man and all that stuff, right? And then so I know someone who was with somebody, then they wanted different things. This person ended up getting married. Um, and then the other one is still kind of like, yeah, that's not really the life that I want. And this other person is like, no, you should definitely find you a woman, get married, or be in a serious relationship, give them title, give them whatever they want, and still go out and cheat. And I'm just like, do you really hear yourself? So you condoning cheating just for the sake of living
This.
by societal norms.
Mm-hmm.
You choosing that over somebody being honest with everybody that they meet, and they say, this is how I do life right now, and this is how I'm gonna move. You can choose to get on board with me, or you can choose to stay aside, and it's fine. Whatever your choice is, you make the choice that's good for you. So now this person is telling me that no, everybody should have somebody, and because at the end of the day, you still can do all the cheating and all the dishonesty that you want to do, as long as you have that person, give that person a title, give them a ring, they'll be at peace, they won't bother you. That's
Well,
the
the
thing.
thing about it is, how many people have I talked to who love who love the concept of polyamory? Like, hands down, it just makes so much sense to them, but they're afraid to live it fully out loud, and it's just like, and that's what it sounds like, I just saw a video today online where this realtor said that he sells more houses to single women than single men. Most of the times, if it's very few men that are buying houses alone, most of the men are with women, and most of the single people are women who are buying homes. And he's just saying it speaks to where our society is and how
Yeah.
it's coming. Not to mention the fact that numeric, just in numbers, there is
Hmm.
not enough individuals for each individual. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
well, then you have gay couples, and you have monogamous single units, and so there's not going to be like, and everyone is going to be with every person. Some
Right.
people are very comfortable in their own space doing their own thing,
Hmm.
and it
So do
doesn't mean
you,
that doesn't mean they're going to die alone. It doesn't mean they want to be alone.
right. Now, I've heard some people say that, oh, well, maybe Kim and what's his name? Uh,
Nick.
Nick. Maybe they're polyamorous, but they should just let people know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they may be I mean, they're not maybe. They are
Are
definitely
not monogamous.
non-monogamous, but I don't think polyamory is the word for it, you know? Be-
I've heard it with Nick. Not necessarily that he said it, but I've heard it in, because another girl, she has a podcast. She interviewed one of the baby mamas, one of Nick's baby mamas, and they said that they're poly.
Oh, okay.
And she does see somebody else. Um, and Nick is fine. But I guess they keep that on the DL just because I guess,
It's not yet accepted
it's not accepted,
fully.
But I mean, I'm just thinking, like, in my mind, I'm just like, he can't possibly think.
expect those women to not
To
have
just sit
anybody
there.
else.
Yeah, just to sit there and nurse.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that what the bigger conversation is that there are going to be a lot of non-traditional looking families, and it's just not going to look like, and it's not going to look like a two parents and the children, and it's okay.
But
It
then
does
you
not
have those
mean
people who tell you, well, it is not right. Well, especially for polyamorous families specifically, that people are telling you, oh, you're messing up these children for them to see this and see that. And I'm like,
not.
the children who grow up in the very abusive families are more messed up than I'm not saying more messed up, but they're the ones that are messed up, not the ones that are growing up in the loving environment with different parents, different support systems, and like I I'm ready for people to catch up.
I really feel like people need to open up their minds about it. The part that I thought was the most scandalous part, not necessarily how they're living, because we don't really know how they're living, is when Cam Newton said he's ready to have more kids. And he just like, he wants to repopulate the earth, kind of.
Spread more seeds, Kim.
Right. And I think that a lot of people had a problem with that because he doesn't want to commit to any particular woman, right? Really? Do you need to be married to have children? Like,
Right.
that's the part that, you know,
But
the
here's the thing.
marriage, they put this marriage carrot over people's head way too
Mhm.
hard, and fucking
Right.
marriage doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it's like folks be faking that they're happy for decades. They
Yes.
fake that they're happy and then they're like, well, this is our duty. Like one of my friends, he said, marriage is not about happiness, it's about duty and responsibility. And I said, shoot me dead. Okay? Because if that is the two, I'm trying to think of what year I could pull from that. That just sounds like some old time shit. Like we
Mhm.
are way more evolved than duty and responsibility.
Right.
We're way more evolved. I mean, we should have, we have machines. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that shit
Like
sounds like, let me get all these kids so I can go churn some butter and go milk these cows. And the kids got to get up at 5 in the morning and do that before they go to school. That world doesn't exist to me.
so
Some people live that. Mm-hmm.
here's another pro I think about these guys openly having children. Guess what? Those siblings, they know about each other, right? So they won't be mating with each other. They won't commit incest because their parents were having children in secret. Because how many times have I heard stories of brothers and sisters? Like recently, I saw it was a Facebook thing that popped up. This brother and sister, they were
Mm-hmm.
married, and
Yeah.
didn't even know they were related because their dad was out there with his dingaling, swinging it everywhere and hiding the fact that he had children in different places. So now these two meet. So I think it was after he ended up passing, and they both suddenly find find out about the news, and all of a sudden they both have a dead parents, and then they start talking about their dad, and they realize, wait a minute, there's a lot of similarities. By the time they look at pictures and everything, because I guess the dad wasn't necessarily in their lives, it was like one of those things that you hear, oh, your dad passed. Oh, okay, it's more like I'm gonna go to the funeral, or maybe it's out of duty that I know that this person is dead, right? But regardless, these two people were married before they were able to find out that they were brothers and sisters. Now,
Mm-hmm.
would you rather have that? I'll take Kim, I'll take Nick any day,
Yeah.
because I know my kids won't be marrying their brothers or their
Well,
sisters
it
because
was
they
the same.
know.
It was the same thing with that one football player. I can't remember his name, but he had his own show, Cutie. Um,
Mm.
his father was the neighbor, and he didn't know his whole life. Somebody knew. I think the grandmother knew. I think the mother knew, but no one said anything.
Somebody always knows.
They knew, right? So he would come, and then the mother was underage. She was like 13 or 14 or something, really young, and got pregnant and had this baby, him. And so, and then of course he was married. This man was married across the street with his wife and his kids. And he was playing with the kids the whole time for years. He grew up with these kids in this little cul-de-sac and didn't know that these kids were his siblings until much later. And how effed up when he finally found out. That broke him, actually. That was what broke him, because he just did never knew who his dad was.
Right.
And that type of shit is problematic. That's broken.
Yes, that is broken to me. Not
That's
the fact that this guy openly says, I have so many baby mamas. I do want more children. Would you like to be the next baby mama? I don't see anything
sign up.
wrong with that. I get to choose.
Sign up right here. You
Yes.
get that
Well,
application.
how much you paying me, Kim? How much? How much for that baby? No,
Yeah.
not like that. But seriously though, those people, they get to make a choice. They are not forced into anything. So I don't know. Come and convince me, please, because where I'm sitting, it's two grown folks or many grown folks making an agreement. So
That's what I think. Absolutely.
convince me otherwise.
I think it is. Yeah.
And two parents household doesn't mean a whole household.
And I do agree with you. I agree that if you're going to live this way, be open about it. You know what
Yes.
I mean? And it's okay. And whoever
Yeah.
decides to choose to sign up for that, peace to you. You
It's
know
on
what I'm saying? You
them.
know exactly.
Yeah. We all have preferences.
Some, I think majority of folks don't talk about how they, you know what I mean? And then how many people are living this way on the DL? So you have this husband and wife family, you have your kids, and then you got these little outside babies that are secrets, and then you got to pay off. And like, who did that happen to? Beyonce's dad.
Right.
um uh
Listen, I have family members that we're finding out they had a whole other family after they passed. It's
yeah,
like, what in the world? We didn't know about, and I'm not talking just one kid. We're talking multiple children. When did you have time to go create another family? But they appear like they
so
are living a regular life with this side, but you don't even know what they're doing out there. What if those kids got to cross path and I mean they're dating or whatever? I mean, that's always a big fear, to me when they don't know, because what do you
the,
do?
that happened to my aunt, actually. Now that I think about it, um her this is up in New York. Her husband, my uncle Fred, he drove like Greyhound bus or whatever from New York Port Authority all the way upstate to wherever New York's capital is, somewhere,
New York,
Albany.
New York, Albany.
Well, Albany.
Yeah.
So, and it was like maybe a 3 or 4 hour bus ride. And so he would go up, stay the night, and then do the morning back, like he did like this round trip, but he would stay on either side. And he did that route for years, 12, 15 years. One day, she finally found some kind of receipt or something in his bank account statement and found out he had an entire wife and 3 kids. Now, she's a wife, she's legally married and had 3 kids with him. He had another woman and 3 kids up there in secret for years. It was basically like he was coming home. I mean, that's like the perfect poly life, to be honest, because you're going to see him every other day. He's going to go up, come back down, go up, come back down. And if he ends there, he might stay there for the weekend and come back down.
Right. But let's make it let's put it in the open. Let's
Right.
not be secretive about
And
it.
let me tell you, that shit devastated her. When I say devastated, broken. My aunt was derailed. Like she was never the same again. Like I saw a complete change in her, and she has, I don't think she's ever recovered from that type of heartbreak.
I could
Ever.
see that. I could see
She
that.
has never recovered. Like I
It's the
don't know.
utmost betrayal.
She is different. So, that's the whole thing about it, is it's like a lot of these monogamous um evangelicals.
Resenting. Oh,
Yeah, well, they just have this like, oh, because monogamy is the god and goddess of the world, and it's just not. It's There are people who are going to be monogamous and they're going to live up to it very
yes.
well, and that is beautiful, fine, and it's all good. But it's not the standard. Number one, it is not the standard, and it shouldn't be, because there's so many multiple different ways of loving. B, by creating it as a standard, then people who have multiple love affairs and stuff, it diminishes that these other loves are valid. Like Bob Marley. Oh, there's a number one celebrity. He had what, like 14 kids with 12 women or something like that. So
Ooh, he was like that.
yes, Bob Marley had children, and a lot of these women probably was slept with him one time, once,
Only took that once.
once. And they didn't have no, you ain't having no relationship on the one time, on the 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
10 minutes, really? Do you think he? Okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying the relation, like, and then he had kids in Europe, US, Jamaica, some other islands,
Everywhere,
anywhere.
swinging it.
And guess what? That baby had that Marley name. They getting paid. They got that estate. Period.
Bob Marley was coming like a wrecking ball.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a child when he died. Once one of the women was pregnant. The
Wow.
youngest child never saw him.
Wow.
Yeah, because the woman was actually pregnant when he died. And so therefore he was sick. You do the math, he had cancer, so he was sick with cancer, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, and who suffered? Rita Marley. She stayed in the game, but she suffered. And she ended up having another baby with somebody else
Oh, that's
while
beautiful.
married to him, because she's like, well, if he could do it, I could do it. It's
Good
just,
for her.
I guess, but it also becomes toxic. It just becomes like this bullshit.
A lot of those relationships were toxic.
Stupid. Stupid.
They are, they were, they are, they will continue to be,
Yeah.
because that's what we keep selling.
That's
Or
the
not
that's the
we,
problem.
they keep selling that.
That's the problem. They're selling a dream.
Yeah, better be unhappy, but you have that one person that'll make you unhappy.
It's foolishness.
Uh, and I mean, we do want to say it, we're, like she just said earlier, some people do live monogamously and do it well, but there's a lot of fuckery out there.
The another problem I find with monogamy, and I hate to be anti-monogamous, but I see the problems, is you're supposed to be with this person till you die, right? But while you're living, you change, and so do they. And what you need changes, what you want changes, what you're attracted to. Like you're going through processes as the time goes on. Even you change physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so people who can navigate that till the end of time, they are amazing. But it takes really like a very highly evolved person to be like, okay, well, and then when you look at older couples, they're not really even into each other.
Well, but I think some of them end up finding love again, but they lost it at one time because for whatever reason, they don't, just because they were married 60 years, 70 years doesn't mean that they liked each other the whole time. Probably half of that time they were not really together. They were just together formally. but they were not really together. So, and then they find each other again later on in life and decided, okay, we're kind of like each other again. But people will always, and it's great, celebrate the 60 years, but they want to make you believe that it was all la
Har-
vie en rose, right?
Say that again.
La vie en rose,
What does that mean?
the beautiful life, basically. La
Mm,
vie en rose. There's a song. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qu'il me
oh,
parle tout bas.
mhm.
Yeah. I don't know the English version of it.
I can almost hear it. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
So, oh man, it's already an hour. But yeah, I mean, there's like so much to say about this. I'm never gonna support unethical behavior, but at the end of the day, we have to remember that not everybody's gonna be traditional per society's standards, and stop beating those people up. It's their
basically.
choice. It's their choice. Let them live their life and go live your miserable life when you understand their choice.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
that's all I have to say.
I agree. Yeah. I just think that folks need to, I think people just need to be a little bit more open to non traditional, different looking families. And I would like these guys who are non committal to commit and to bring their kids together. That's all I could ask.
Like, you
If
mean
I can get,
committal in what sense?
say it again.
You say you would like for those guys to who are non-committal to commit. Like, commit in what sense?
Well, I think what I was hearing about Cam is like he doesn't want to get married, right?
Mhm.
And he said he's more afraid of divorce than he is of marriage.
Oh,
Um,
that's me. I hear that. I feel it. I
I
feel it
don't,
so hard.
I don't, I don't have an issue with not being married. I have an issue with not being committed. And
Yeah.
to me, lack of commitment is loosey goosey. And if we're having children, then that is the commitment right there. We got to raise a child. It doesn't have to be romantic. Some
Right.
relationships are arrangements.
But
So
him being there for those kids, I feel like that's a commitment. He may not be
I
committed
do.
to
I
their
agree. But I
mothers,
think they're talking about the women. So, for example, he just had a baby with some girl. And now this is hearsay because I don't even know
right?
their actual story. But I guess the sentiment was if he is saying he wants more kids, he could be wanting more kids with the women he's already involved with. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I think he might just have a girlfriend and then
Mm-hmm.
these other are past relationships. Who the hell knows? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think Nick's more looks like he kind of navigates between them. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, I just feel like the commitment, like committing, like create more like solid foundations. You know what I mean? Like these women should know that you're there for them. I guess that's kind of the thoughts that I have.
But nothing is saying that they're not there. And I don't think they really need to be there for the women specifically. They just need to be there for the children. I mean, by being there for your children, you are there for the women. Like,
Right, but not
because when you
necessarily.
show up as a dad, you show up for the woman who is raising them.
Yeah, but maybe their needs aren't the women's needs aren't being met. Basically, what he said on one of the shows was he's waiting for his wife to come through, right? For him to say that and have a
Okay.
girlfriend, for him
Mm.
to say that and he has a girlfriend currently means that the girlfriend ain't the one.
And yeah, she's
And
not the wife yet.
if she heard that, she gonna know that she ain't the one. She's just the girlfriend. Just right now, you're just the girlfriend right now, honey,
Yeah,
until my wife comes
comes
through. So
through. Okay.
that's pretty harsh to say, in my opinion. I know after that show was over, I was gonna be like, pull up, we gotta have a conversation.
But Sky, what if the girlfriend actually doesn't want the same things that he wants? What if he wants the wife, but she doesn't want the husband? Did you think about that part?
I don't it could go 35 different ways. I don't know. We don't know their situation. We're just guessing and speculating and what have you.
Because
But
remember, we're always looking at the woman to be chosen. What if she's not choosing him? That's why he's still waiting on the
I
wife.
find that highly unlikely because if I'm going to sacrifice my body and have a child with you,
Mm.
yes, it is a choice to be involved with that. Because now you're dealing with this person for 20 something years.
No, but some people, like I said, I have a friend who just wanted the kid. She didn't want the husband. She didn't want the relationship. She didn't want the boyfriend. She didn't even want the boyfriend part. She just wanted that kid. So she got her kid and bounced.
I mean,
I
folks be
mean,
doing all kinds of stuff.
it's okay for a woman to not want the husband.
Yeah.
Why is it always the woman that needs to be chosen? Like she can deny you as well. Like, oh, yeah, you're not the husband that I'm looking for. You may be a baby daddy, but you're not the husband that I'm looking for.
Deep. That's deep. That's a deep thought.
I'm just saying, because again, she's not the pick me.
I didn't think
She may
about
not be
that.
the pick me, pick me,
I
pick
always look
me.
at like the women being, oh, I want that. That's
Not
exactly
all
what I look at
women
it.
want
I
that.
look
Not
at
all
they are
women. Or she may want it, but not from him. Because you already know
mm,
he's for the streets.
he's trash.
Don't say he's trash. That's not how I would put it.
Well, that's my language.
He's not the man
For the
of her
streets,
dreams.
for the streets and trash is the same thing. You know what I mean? That's the same thing.
He's not the man of her dreams. But she's okay chilling with him for now until her husband comes through. How about that?
Well, like the words, the wise words of Jay, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a hell no.
No.
End of discussion. Period.
Yeah, I mean, no, for me, there's a lot of places that I allow gray area because, again, I don't want to marry everybody that I date. I don't want a serious thing with everybody that I date. I have different relationships with different people that I date. Some are transactional, and
Oh,
some
and that
and
that
some are just like, oh, lovey-dovey, Romeo and Juliet. Oh, you're gonna really have that kind of connection with everybody. You're not going to do that. So yeah, maybe she's choosing that. I'm guessing. I'm just saying, let's flip the script a little
I
bit because it might be that.
right, right.
Because I mean, he may not be the prize.
Yeah, I
'Cause
agree.
that's how we talk nowadays, right?
Yeah,
I'm the prize kind of thing. So
yeah.
yeah,
No,
he
you're
may
right.
not be
Absolutely, 100%.
the
Yeah.
so I'm just saying.
I don't think people look at it that way, but you're right. You're right. They
Yeah,
think he is the prize because he's the multimillionaire.
right.
But she can have standards just as equally
Exactly.
as anyone and be like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. I'll have a baby with you, but you being my husband, hell no.
That's so brilliant. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I love that vibe.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good.
I mean, I mean, I've done that. It's like, sure, let's rub privates, but no, we're not gonna be an item.
Gotcha.
No. But anyway, yeah, that's all we have for tonight, right?
Yeah, that was pretty deep.
Oh, do you want to put the link for the tickets for next Friday, people? And remember, this is a very intimate gathering. So we are only taking a few
Mm,
people because we want to keep it intimate.
let's
That's the word. But you still need to put clothes on to come to this party. It is the juicy bash, but I don't know if it's the kind of juice that's going to be flowing. So,
so let
man is the
me
prize.
first share the flyer, which I was supposed
Uh,
to share earlier. Is it
Zulia
can you
Man
see it?
said, "Men is the prize." Okay, if you say so. So, as a reminder, Next Friday, we are having our next Juicy Bash on Friday the 13th with your Polly Pimps, Me Too and Sky. We start at 8:30. There's going to be all kinds of conversations. It will be a live podcast. Where did you go?
I'm right here.
Um,
Man is
so
the prize.
right. Do you have
Oh,
the ticket link for the Eventbrite ticket
yeah,
link
yeah.
to
I
put
had
in
it up and
the
I lost it, but here it is. I
but
got it
yeah,
right here.
come join us for some amazing conversation. You don't have to be polyamorous to be part of this juicy bash. You can come hang out, meet some new people, open your mind, free yourself, allow yourself to think differently in that space and make new connections.
Make new friends, make new lovers, meet
All that.
somebody, take somebody home.
Acquaintances, all of that.
All of the above. Learn
Yes.
something, share something.
Before you clean poly, come learn some stuff with the poly pimps
Yeah,
about
that's
poly.
a really important part because I feel like a lot of folks don't do the work to navigate communication. They don't know how to communicate transparently and I just watched the thing that what's her name? Kenya K. Stevens did about communicating your
Mhm.
what is better, being authentic or being honest. And she was saying, you don't no one is required your honesty, but everyone is required your authenticity. And I was like, ooh.
But I feel like with authenticity comes honesty though, right? Because if I'm my true self,
Well, for example, the example she gave was something about a partner wanted to know about who you're talking to, or something like who you're talking to, or can I see your phone, or some kind of
oh,
weird exchange like that,
that's not
right?
honesty.
And the honest answer was like something like, no, you can't, or no, that's not. The authentic answer was like, I don't feel safe giving you my phone for any reason. We're not in a place where that's okay, or something like
Mhm.
that.
Right.
So like authenticity is more like not not the honest part of it, but the, oh, I don't even feel comfortable. Like my feelings are more valid than on it being truthful and honest, you know? You could tell the truth to someone and feel real fucked up, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I'd have to hear that thing and see
I'll
what
send it to you.
I
I'll
okay,
send
how
it.
I feel
It
about
was
it.
it was pretty deep, and I know I probably messed it up, but she had
Because
some.
to me, I feel like if I show up as who I truly am, then with that, honesty is automatically attached to it. But maybe transparency, I don't know, is different. I don't know.
Well,
I
you've heard of radical honesty, right? You've heard of radical honesty,
no.
where people are having these relationships where it's radical, like brutal. Like radical honesty means brutal to me. Like you're gonna get punched in the chest by this information,
Okay.
and they're trying to create these relations, especially in monogamy, where like, the husband comes home and he's like, oh, I met this woman, blah blah blah, and so just keeping everything open and transparent, and it just creates like a different paradigm, because I find
Mhm.
like monogamy always is like you're in a fantasy world and no, nothing happened. But
Right.
anyway, so there's all this. I don't know, if you Google radical honesty, you'll see like they have movements about radical honesty and classes.
Okay.
But I think honesty can be so brutal. Like people, like you got to know how to navigate how to communicate to people so that they can receive it without falling out or just being punched in the gut. Like sometimes you can receive information and you just like,
I feel like honesty is always going to be brutal. It's truly up to the person delivering that honesty, if they are considerate or even know how to deliver to make their point, but still be um I can't find my words right now, but like gentle on you. It's not really the word, compassionate and
Compassionate.
yeah, mindful of how you may feel. Like I try to
Demure.
deliver the mirror. I try to deliver messages the way I would want them delivered to me with
Hmm.
kindness, but still tell me the truth. And
Hmm.
it still may hurt with all the kindness, but it will hurt less, and I will be a little bit more understanding.
Definitely something I've worked on for many years on my
Mm-hmm.
own self because I'm an Aries and I will say it like it comes to my brain, like phew. And so
Mm-hmm.
I used to talk to people and they couldn't receive what I was saying because they would be like, damn. So I had to like process way more so that like I can really choose words
Mm-hmm.
that I can get the message across without like being so brutal. So, but anyway,
Because words are very important. Like even my kids, they are learning how to communicate and relay messages without like you tell the truth, but you're not trying to hurt the person's feeling. Like my kids, they tell me the truth. Sometimes it's like, oh, like my son was like, so we love your eggs, but next time, don't let it get brown like this. And don't put the garlic in it, but it's still amazing. We just prefer it without the garlic in it. Now, I was putting the because I'm trying to be fancy. Okay. I'm trying to be fancy for my children. They don't care about that. They don't. So he still found a way to let me know I understand what you're trying to do, but that's not how we like it. And we appreciate you for what you're doing, but we don't want it.
I
So,
know you're trying to be gourmet about this, but
right. So,
wheel
and
it wheel
it was,
it back.
yes, it was so beautiful, but I was so proud. It was a proud moment because to me, it's like my baby. He still tells me the truth. He still tells me how he feels about that particular eggs, right? But he was not harsh about it. And then the next time I made it just the way he liked it, he was like, Mom, these eggs were perfect. You can keep making them like that. Thank you so much. Like,
Absolutely.
it is great.
We have a
I'm
common
raising great humans.
Sky
All
Juice. You're looking well.
right.
Liaman Yusuf Adu. Thank you. Thank you, person. You're awesome.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Oh my God. Hmm.
so I guess we'll see each other at least next Friday, if not sooner.
Absolutely. I am so excited about this polypump. I may not look as excited. I just can't jump out of my chair. So,
Okay, we got another comment. You know, people just they just come in on the end, trying to get out of here.
I know, right?
Has to know every detail about me, but I will keep it 100 at all times. Is how I translate it.
Absolutely. That's how it
Novia.
should be. Hey, Novia, good to see you, baby. Yeah, that's how it should be, you know. And again, details come with it's a privilege. Certain details about your life is a privilege for
I
some
feel
people.
like I like to share, but I don't like to share and I'm not getting shared.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like giving all the info and then I get nothing in return. Like I'm if I'm
Right.
gonna give you some sauce, I need some sauce.
Right.
So
It
if
has to
you're not
be a
willing
two-way
to be
street.
transparent and open and honest with, I'm not gonna do the same thing either. You ain't gonna know nothing.
Exactly.
So
Again,
it's
it's a
called the
privilege.
401k. You put in, I put in. So
Yes. Yep. All right, guys. It is way past time. It's always such a pleasure hanging out with you guys. We cannot wait to see you next Friday at 8:30 p.m. for the
eight.
Juicy Dash. 8. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My other show next the weekend after is 8:30. I'm so sorry. I'm confusing the two. 8 p.m. next Friday the 13th with your poly pimps at the Juicy Bash, but you still have to keep your clothes on. So we cannot wait to see you. Get your tickets early because we're only taking just a few people.
Just a few. It's gonna be
Thank
nice.
you guys for being here. Thank you, Sky. It was good. Thank you to the people who commented. Keep your comments coming. Share,
And the
like,
folks who didn't come,
follow. What?
the folks who were work watching
Yes. Thank you. We
today
appreciate
was
you.
they were more behaving today.
Yes. Keep supporting us. Share with a friend, a family member who may need to hear the word of the Poly Pimps. Remember to follow us, like us, and subscribe to our channel and encourage your friends and family to do so because we do spread the love and great information.
We're spreading love. Peace,
Have a great
y'all.
night.